Welcome to the project. Tonight, she's the new face of nuclear. We speak to the former beauty queen who's on a mission to spark Australia's love for the controversial energy source.
Also, residents of one council are loudly protesting their latest rate rise. So how much are they being forced to fork out?
Plus, it's Cher!
Yes!
We're going to chat to her about, I like this. One of her most memorable music moments.
Wow, and have you ever felt like a wimp in front of your partner? I don't know why I get this story, but we might have a solution for you, and the solution, I reckon, is bring me in as a third. You're going to look like a real hero in comparison.
We are live from the lands of the Cooler Nation tonight with Georgie Taunts.
Samuel, that does seem quite targeted for
I know,
you,
that
question.
doesn't seem fair. Also inaccurate, as you guys know. I bring the alpha energy to this panel every week.
Every
Single day.
All right, okay.
Let's get into today's top stories now. And first to some breaking news tonight. Police in New South Wales have foiled a potential terror attack in Sydney. A joint counter-terrorism investigation is underway after a caravan filled with explosives was found at Dural in the city's northwest. A note found with the van suggested the explosives were destined for a synagogue. The threat is being treated as credible.
I understand community concerns about this story and similar escalating incidents of anti-Semitic violence in our community, that anyone attempting terrorism, violence, hatred in our community will be met with the full force of the law.
There's renewed hope tonight for the family of Melbourne man Oscar Jenkins. Confirmation that he's alive and being held by the Russians. The Australian government has called for Jenkins' release, saying it has serious concerns for him as a prisoner of war. This follows reports that the 32-year-old who travelled from Australia to fight in Ukraine had been killed shortly after being captured last year.
And Athletics Australia won't say just how much it's spent to give the organisation what it calls a bold new identity, except that it's a modest amount. The governing body will now be known as Australian Athletics.
Whoa.
It's also got a shiny new logo, people. Apparently it's all about uniting the 4 million Australians who actively participate in athletics.
We're 8 years out to the Olympics and the Paralympics, and we think the timing is right to capture that opportunity. And so we've been working on that for really 12 months.
12 months?
It's going to shift the needle. I can feel it already. I'm going to dust off the shot put right now and get back into it.
Well, that is what it's for, Sam. It is meant to kind of encourage anyone who might just go for a casual jog to consider themselves part of this cohort. So that's the point of
so
being
it was
Australian
the logo
athletics
holding
now.
us back.
Yeah,
Yes,
I think so.
as not being a force within the world of athletics. However, it is meant to launch this new golden era. It's representing that big shift in that, which I do think we are actually going to head into a very strong portion of our athletics career right now. But for me, the logo itself, terrible. The name, I don't love at all. What is wrong with the colours of the first initial one and what I think Australia makes sense?
Tell the difference. I feel like I'm looking at the same thing.
But could you imagine, there would have been focus groups and surveys and studies, hundreds of thousands of dollars for someone to say at the end of it, guys, we'll just flip it.
I reckon
But it's a bad flip.
I agree.
I disagree with you on the logo. I think the new logo's better.
No, you're wrong, but that's okay.
But
It's teal, it's not even green.
But it's close to green. Look, sorry, get them
Close
back.
to
All right,
green.
fine.
Yeah,
I just
yeah,
argue.
yeah.
The
Here
one
we
on
go.
the left could be, I mean, what colours are they? That could,
It's a track and you've got the
Athlete.
field. Look how simple that is.
Yeah, but
it's
look-
red, it's eye-catching.
yeah, it looks like it could be Spain's. The one on the right, at least it looks like Australia.
You know what I
And it's got-
reckon?
But anyway, the main point, sorry.
There's no
no,
Tasmania.
get
The
it.
main problem is Australian athletics is a phrase.
Yes, I agree.
If I say, what's the state of Australian athletics? Am I talking about an organisation or am I talking about everyone who's doing it? What am I talking about?
I'm with you. I'm with you. You needed to be in the focus.
I
list.
reckon
Exactly.
they should have started with running faster. That would have been my... then work back to the logo.
Fingers crossed.
All right, let's go nuclear. We're going to go nuclear. That's the
Yes.
opposition's pledge, at least, if they win the next election. So, as the divisive energy debate rages on, can one American beauty queen persuade Aussies to pivot on power?
Your Miss America 2023 is Miss Wisconsin Grace Stanky.
She's the beauty queen. Dubbed the new face of nuclear energy, who landed a spot on Forbes' list of most influential energy experts under 30.
I thought, man, What a flex it would be to say I am a nuclear engineer.
Now, Grace Stanke is touring Down Under, courtesy of Dick Smith's pro-nuclear campaign group, Miss Nuclear, keen to weigh in on Australia's explosive nuclear energy debate.
Nuclear power plants are beautiful things.
It's a cry of common sense.
It is the worst combination of economic and ideological stupidity.
They look wonderful.
With the election looming, the opposition is pledging to build 7 nuclear sites across New South Wales, Queensland, WA, SA and Victoria. Their hip pocket power pitch?
A 44% reduction in the cost of energy for Australian consumers.
Peter Dutton, his energy plan for nuclear that'll push up prices by $1,200.
Enter the CSIRO, Australia's leading scientific organisation, which kindly crunched the nuke numbers twice last year in collaboration with the Australian energy market operator.
Yet again, the evidence is in.
The findings? A large-scale nuclear plant will take at least 15 years to build, cost up to $17 billion a pop, and produce electricity twice the price of renewables.
The assumptions and methodology have been disputed before.
As for Grace Stanke,
it honestly surprises me a little bit that there is such a big debate about this in Australia, just because at least here in America, it's one of the few things our politicians agree upon.
So as Australia's energy debate heats up, can this nuke-loving beauty queen change Aussie hearts and minds?
Nuclear energy is literally just fancy hot rocks that boil water. That's it.
Well, Grace joins us now. Grace, Aussie attitudes towards nuclear is changing, but lots of us don't want to live anywhere near a nuclear reactor. What would you say to change their minds?
You know, let's look at case studies of actual communities in America that have nuclear power plants near them, right? Most of those communities are actually the most positive people that love nuclear the most, right? They're experiencing the high-paying jobs, the millions of tax dollars back into the communities, and the 6% lower electricity bills in America.
So America and Australia are quite different countries. In several ways, we're a massive country, very spread out, not that many people in it. You've got people everywhere. And this is where it really becomes an economic argument for us. Expert after expert, big institution after big institution saying it just would cost so much. We are starting from nowhere. It's the slowest, most expensive option that we have on the table and would deliver more expensive energy in the long run. Do you accept that it's a very different equation in Australia?
I would argue that you're definitely not starting from nowhere. You know, already Australia is mining uranium, so you've got the mining portion of it. Additionally, you're bringing in nuclear submarines through the AUKUS agreement, right? So you're going to be developing that workforce of reactor operators there. There's already a reactor that's creating medicinal isotopes in Australia too. So there is more of a nuclear knowledge and nuclear workforce that is present here than most people realize. Additionally, when it comes to nuclear power plants, most of the time, the jobs are not specifically nuclear. We still need primarily mechanical engineers, electrical engineers, systems engineers, nurses, firefighters, communications specialists, management leaders, everything. There's really only about 5 to 6 true nuclear engineers at every single nuclear power plant and per reactor. So in that capacity, I think Australia is very well set up to build and develop that workforce to help create more high-paying jobs for Australians.
But Grace, part of the coalition's plan involves 2 small modular reactors. Given they're not proven commercially viable, is it unwise to rely on those?
I think it's something that we need to start looking at all of the different types of small modular reactors, right? Because there are 80 different startups worldwide, and we're going to need standardization. But the great thing about Australia having that as part of their potential plan is they likely won't be necessarily the first to be building these small modular reactors. We're seeing them under construction in Canada and in other countries across the globe. So in that capacity, it's not going to be a first of a kind when it comes to Australia.
Grace, in the package we saw just there, you were quoted as saying nuclear power is literally just fancy hot rocks that boil water. If that's the case, why was the movie Oppenheimer 3 hours long?
I love it. Well, you know, Oppenheimer was not about nuclear power generation in a capacity of electricity. It was about a different type of nuclear use. So the introduction of nuclear science was weaponry. So it led to a very bad first impression. But that's really only about 5% of the entire nuclear industry. Nuclear offers so much more, ranging from the radiation that's in your bananas that you may eat every single day, all the way to energy that's powering 10% of the globe.
Sounds like a fancy banana.
And also, she's a former beauty queen. She wants world peace.
I get it.
Yeah,
Yes.
so
Oh,
has
yeah,
to-
that's of course. Yeah.
Don't ask an Oppenheimer question, Sam.
I'm so sorry.
Grace, thank you very much for your time. Okay.
Time for a break. We'll see you soon.
Back looking project.
Well, a Queensland influencer accused of drugging her baby for social media clicks and cash is tonight free on bail. But the judge has imposed strict conditions on the 34-year-old, who is facing several charges, describing her alleged conduct as offensive. He's banned her from any physical contact with her daughter. The matter returns to court next month.
US federal employees are being urged to quit. About 2 million have reportedly been offered huge payouts as the president looks to reduce the size of the public service. But it could prove a costly way to do it. Those who quit by next Friday will get paid through to the end of September. To accept the deal, they just type the word resign into the subject line of an email and hit send. Trump won't guarantee the jobs of those who stay.
It's time now to see what else is making news around the world.
Former US Ambassador to Australia Caroline Kennedy has unleashed on her cousin Robert F. Kennedy Jr. She's called on the US Senate to reject his nomination of Health Secretary under President Donald Trump.
His views on vaccines are dangerous and willfully misinformed. These facts alone should be disqualifying. But he has personal qualities related to this job, which for me pose even greater concern. It's no surprise that he keeps birds of prey as pets, because Bobby himself is a predator.
The doomsday clock has been reset at 89 seconds to midnight, closer to midnight than ever before. The reason? Scientists are worried the world's not doing enough to combat the dangers posed by Russian nuclear threats, military use of AI, and climate change.
Any move towards midnight should be taken as an indication of extreme danger and an unmistakable warning.
And America's answer to the Concorde has gone supersonic. The Boom Aerospace XB-1 is the first civilian aircraft ever to break the sound barrier during a test flight.
There we are. XB-1 is supersonic.
It's the next step towards Boom's Overture, a commercially viable supersonic airliner capable of crossing the Atlantic in under 4 hours.
Now it's time to go build the version that you and I get to fly on.
In our lifetime, they reckon all of our flights will be supersonic and you'll be able to fly anywhere in the world in 4 hours for about $160.
Wow.
Really? That's a great
How
fact.
can it be cheaper?
Factoid.
I don't know. I feel like it would be like more convenience equals more expense.
The real question is, though, will the flight leave within 12 hours of its scheduled time?
That's true. That's very true. Cannot confirm that.
Guys, let's take a flight to Victoria.
Well done, Sam.
I'm getting clapped. I've never been clapped like that before. Education Minister Ben Carroll was talking up the impact leaders can have on students' future careers. Unfortunately, the career he highlighted was a little risque.
Teaching does change lives. To have that impact on a child, and one day when they grow up, to get the tap on the shoulder to say, "You helped me," become a pianist.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. Kids love playing their piano. I remember as a teen, I used to really love playing my organ. It was.
Not much has changed.
You regret
Sam.
those claps now, don't you?
Well, project updates.
Welcome back.
5 fires are burning out of control in Victoria's west, and locals are now concerned about more dangerous conditions forecast to arrive this weekend. Around Dimboola and Nil, fire crews have spent the day clearing trees and putting out spot fires. A number of buildings have been destroyed, including the Little Desert Nature Lodge. The lodge owner says he's lost everything.
A few tears yet, but what can you do? I just got to accept it and go on and hope that they'll rebuild it.
In other news, when it comes to what's hot and what's not for 2025, trend tracking company Tracksuit says card games, real-life experiences, nostalgia and dad cams, that's film and video cameras.
Yes.
They're totally in, guys.
Oh my God.
Makes sense to me.
But you can forget about X, formerly known as Twitter, cool cabanas and foes. They're all on their way out. Millennial bashing is also out.
Thank God.
As well as celebrities who endorse politicians. They are on the nose.
Yes, I can understand that as well. What I'm adding to the out list,
Oh, yep, go, Tammy.
voice notes.
Thank
you.
I hate a voice note.
Thank you.
I'm not a voice note guy, but what's the problem?
Voice notes.
Yeah.
I don't need a 17-hour podcast from my bestie. Just text me that you're
Send
on
me
your
a
way.
TED talk.
Text me that you're on your way.
Hang on.
Hang on.
Well, Ed, I've not listened to your voice note.
No, I don't think I know anyone who responds less to texts. So
Then Georgie.
it doesn't matter what we send you, does it?
He responds to me all the time.
Is this an intervention?
Right.
This is this is an intervention. Oh no. No. But honestly, because you think that it's so great, and you're like, the first minute, I'm like, oh, so fun. I miss my friends. I'm so wonderful to hear their voices. And then after that, though, I've started doing something else. I've tuned it out. I have to re-listen. I have to look at the transcript.
So this is your
Just send me a
attention
little
span
text.
being the problem, not the voice note.
No, I'm with Georgie.
They're so, it's a
and where do you listen to it? Because you don't know what they're going to say.
No, exactly.
You have to have you have to be in a cocoon of privacy.
No, that's what's fun. Play it out loud and let it be rule out.
Not my friends. Woo.
Guys, across Victoria, kids are heading back to school. It's very exciting stuff. I remember my first ever day. It was scary and it was tough. I'm just remembering it now.
Like
but
yesterday,
this kid loved it.
And what are you going to say to Mum and Dad when you go inside? Bye.
Bye. Joke's on you, kid. After that, you're getting homeschooled.
Sorry, I was just laughing away. Now, before we go to a break, let's take a look at what's making waves in the music world this week.
Congratulations, Amel and the Sniffers. The Aussie punk rockers have scored a nom for this year's Brit Awards.
What a privilege, what an honour.
And while we're celebrating, congrats to Chapel Roan, who took out the top spot in Triple J's Hottest 100, followed by Royal Otis at number 2, and to all the homegrown acts who made it into the countdown.
Moto Takakata Hazuda.
What does that mean?
Should have been higher. Yeah, should have.
Thank you, legends, for voting for me. Thank you so much. Number 9, baby. Yeah!
Triple J fave G-Flip has been working on album number 3, Stateside, where they're thankfully safe from the LA fires along with wife Chriselle.
There was a fire kind of like right in our backyard, and it was just like immediately like, you gotta go. And G was like doing all these things. They are so amazing.
Super duo Fanning Dempsey National Park dropped their new Bowie-inspired single Black Star 2.
I just wanna follow the black star.
Along with the news, they've been added to the Great Southern Nights 2025 lineup, alongside Lyric.
I'm coming back for you, baby.
And Woojera. And in Vegas, this clip of Luke Steele from Empire of the Sun performing Human Now with Anima at the Sphere is racking up views on their socials. And it's easy to see why. Viva Las Vegas! That's ARIA Amplified. This is The Project.
Let's get some more news now and an update on that breaking news from before. A joint counter-terrorism investigation is underway in New South Wales after a caravan packed with explosives was found in Sydney's northwest. The van was found 10 days ago and arrests have been made on the periphery of the investigation. Also found with the van a note with the address of a Sydney synagogue. The discovery thwarted a potential terror attack.
We have no information that there are further explosives in our community in relation to conducting anti-Semitic attacks anywhere. We believe that we have contained appropriately this current threat.
14 members of a Queensland religious sect have been found guilty of manslaughter over the death of 8-year-old Elizabeth Strews in 2022. The group, which includes her parents, deliberately denied her insulin because of their belief that God heals. Her father, Jason Strews, and the group's religious leader, Brendan Stevens, were found not guilty of murder.
Some big predictions tonight from Aussie money experts. They're betting there's a 90% chance of an interest rate cut when the Reserve Bank Board meets next month. The reason for their confidence, headline inflation has fallen to 2.4%, back to where the RBA says it needs to be.
Nothing in life is certain, not even cash rate cuts, until the RBA pulls that trigger. But the chances of a cut are highly likely at this point in time.
They never get that wrong. Tonight, fresh fears of more council rate hikes after a council in Sydney approved a rate increase of almost 40% over 3 years. The hike will see the average ratepayer fork out an additional $673 a year. The Northern Beaches Council in Sydney debated the rise for 4 hours last night. The 8-7 vote prompted an angry response from locals.
Don't ask us for the bailout. Council must look within.
Money should be taken from the people on six figures who do diddly what in this council.
So wholesome.
It is great.
Such a wholesome graph.
I love doing diddly what. Anyway, Sue Hines is the Mayor of the Northern Beaches Council and voted for the rate increase. Sue, rate increases I think we get, but 40% over 3 years seems pretty colossal. Is it really justifiable?
I suppose it depends on the way that you look at it, because in reality, none of us want a rate rise. If we all had the way that the world would work for us, none of us would have a rate rise at all. So there was certainly a very understandable part of our community who don't want anything to rise. But being an area really affected by weather events, we're always an area that gets massive storms. We have roads issues here, storm issues here, storm water issues here. So this is where a lot of it will need to go.
Land values in the area, they have exploded, but not everyone who lives on the Northern Beaches is rich. Some people have been there for generations. Are you worried that this big rate rise could push some people over the edge and even out of the area?
It is a concern, and it's something that we are very aware of. We have very much a senior demographic here, as well as young families. But our senior demographic, who are very much on fixed incomes, are obviously going to find this very, very challenging. But the cost of everything is increasing, whether it's your power bill, whether it's your water bill, whether it's insurance, everything is increasing. And I think there's a point of which council has tried to absorb as many increases as possible, but we can't keep being the credit card. We need to keep helping everybody.
Mayor, with respect, Scott Phillips, the CEO of the Northern Beaches Council, I mean, my understanding is that he makes somewhere between $556,000 a year, which is almost as much as the Prime Minister. Whoa. I mean, things don't seem too bad for the council.
Yes, so we don't have a liquidity problem. We also, like all councils at that very senior position, that is a position that is not coming under any award. We all look and headhunt the people that we're looking for. So our CEO's rate is not unusual.
Sue, if the rate rise doesn't go through, how bad is it going to get? Are we going to have to, pop the Spit Bridge up permanently, just cut the beaches off to the rest of Sydney?
I wouldn't even ask that question, because I'm sure we'd probably get a definite yes to some of our residents.
OK, Sue, thank you. Thanks for talking to us.
No problem. Thank you very much.
And if you want to look like a hero in front of your partner, you can now rent a villain, deciding to capitalise on his intimidating looks. Aww. This man from Malaysia is offering his services. The 28-year-old allows clients to pretend to take him down so they can impress their someone special. He's charging, this is a bargain, $36 on weekdays and $55 on a weekend.
I'll put him on a retainer right now. This is unbelievable value. I would love to do it.
Samuel, in actual real life though, would you employ this man's services?
No.
How would that go?
Because you guys know Jules. Yes. I think she might end him.
She'd take him on.
She would I would be huddled, trying to do something. She'd be like, get out of the way, Sam, and just attack him, probably.
How would you feel if...
I would ask, if Robert did this.
Robert Wen did this, yeah.
I would be so off Robert.
I would be
so off Robert. I'd be like, what on earth are you doing to this man with beautiful hair?
Yeah.
We were having a lovely conversation.
Hang on.
I will invite you to join if I want you to. Please step aside.
Are you saying you're going to run off with the fake robber?
She looks a bad boy.
I don't understand the whole like macho, like I'm going to sort out the situation, therefore I'm going to be like the full alpha. It's not for me.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Okay,
I
fair
don't
enough.
get it.
All right, well, I'm still interested, my man. Guys, I was watching Sky News last night, and I learned a lot of stuff. They were discussing how to attract female voters, and it's very interesting. Look at this.
You insult our intelligence to think we don't care about the things that the men care about in the campaign.
People vote. Well, of course they do, but people vote with the hip pocket, and if there is a sense amongst women that they don't like
but
this bloke,
we don't vote with our vaginas, mate. We do not vote with our vaginas.
I mean, what would that even look like? Funny you ask. I've spent all day whipping up the vision. Oh, we can't. There's kids watching. Right. Okay. I guess.
Very hard to hold the pencil.
Would make you think twice about the democracy sausage.
That's why they call it Sky After Dark.
Oh, she's good. She's good.
You guys done?
Yeah, we're done.
Great. After a break, see you soon.
This is the project. Welcome back.
Guys, we live on a miraculous spinning globe. Or if you're a flat earther like Tunny, it's just a plate that kind of flops. Anyway, on that miraculous spinning globe, there's a lot of international TV news happening every second of the day. I'm going to show you all. Let's do it. This is all the news. First, let's go to New Zealand politics, where this reporter wasn't going to let the opposition leader get away with this huge fashion crime.
Very, very determined to make this a one-term government.
A call to arms from an opposition leader wearing jandals.
Yeah, look, I mean, it's great, you're forming my feet. Wait, I cut my toenails.
Classic politician already embroiled in a sook scandal.
Sorry. Good. You need to do it again.
I'm sorry.
What scandal?
A sook scandal. I don't know why we're not. Anyway, to the US, guys. Fox News is still taking swings at Kamala Harris and her partner Doug, but I don't think this is a thing.
The New York Post caught her grocery shopping with Dougie Fresh.
Oh.
What kind of husband goes grocery shopping with his wife?
I don't know, mate. Maybe a husband that wants to stay a husband. Let's stick with American politics because Trump's head of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem, blew people's minds today by walking on stage to address staff and press while blasting the extremely horny hit song, One Hot Mama.
Honourable Kristi Noem.
One hot mama, you turn me on, let's turn it up and turn this room into a sauna.
You know, it sends a message, I think. And she really lets it sit as well. Yeah.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, I mean, it is insane though. What's next? Trump walking out to a gay disco anthem like YMCA? That'll never happen. Guys, let's cool down a bit after that. There's been snow in Texas, of all places, and this reporter managed to chat with the most literal kid I think that exists on this round planet Earth.
Tell me a little bit about, is this your first time seeing snow like this? And how cool is it?
It's, I would say 20 degrees.
Oh.
An amazing insight to what Waleed must have been like as a child.
Waleed?
That is very observant.
Let's go to Canada.
You have the right of reply.
No, come on. I would have looked it up first.
Yeah. You would have cited references.
Yeah.
I get it. Let's get up to Canada because there are a lot of reasons to get divorced, but this is an absolute doozy. And buckle up because this takes a lot of twists and turns.
A BC man's obsession with finding Sasquatch has led to quite a contentious divorce. An unnamed 57-year-old man's repeated hunts for Sasquatch is the reason why he is not entitled to spousal support. The couple separated after the wife found out he went on one of these searches with his ex-girlfriend.
Good news, ladies. He's single. Apparently now he's on the hunt for something even more elusive than the Sasquatch, dignity. Finally, guys, let's wrap it up. Last week, Sydney had Putricia, but now New York has its very own stinky corpse flower, and it's got a cool name and absolutely disgusting reviews.
Workers have named the plant Smelly It.
Smell like rotting garbage. Sweaty.
It's the worst thing I ever smelled.
I'm getting more of a stinky cheese foot smell.
Sweaty, rotting garbage and bad feet. Whack some Lynx Africa on that. You got a teenage boy. I can explain the foot smell though.
Great, you're forming my feet.
Guys, that was very good. That was all the news.
Really?
All the news, yeah.
I thought you were just doing diddly what. But apparently not.
Diddly what?
Diddly what. Off to a great season.
Welcome back. You're watching The Project.
Only a few true legends are known by just one name. For almost 60 years, Cher has been at the top of her game. First appearing on television with Sonny Bono back in the 60s.
I got you, baby.
She's forged an incredible film career,
Snap out of it.
which saw her win an Oscar.
I guess I'm on my way. Thank you.
For her music, she holds the record for the longest gap between US #1 singles at 24 years from 1971 to this dance floor classic. And in her latest project, an ad for Uber Eats, Cher proves she's never taken herself too seriously.
She's both young and old at the same time. Witch! She's a witch!
She's a witch! I'm not a witch, I'm an icon.
Cher, welcome to the project.
Thank you.
So Uber call you and they say, we want to burn you at the stake
Are those my boots?
for being a witch because you look old and young at the same time. And you presumably say yes. Why?
I just thought it was fun. I thought it was funny, you know, and I thought it was like funny and droll and amusing and just, you know, it wasn't going to be like work.
Oh, no doubt. It's like you're in on every joke. Is comedy just something that is constantly within you?
Yeah. You know, my mom was funny and just, she had the greatest sense of humor, and my sister and I got it, and so it has helped me. Because sometimes, you know, you've got to see things and you've got to make them funny, you know, even if they're not. Take me back to the 80s. Who are you? This isn't the 80s.
'Tis the 1680s.
In the ad, you get this wonderful time machine that we can see in the corner here. What is it about the 80s that you love the most?
I don't know, it was a really interesting time for me. It was really fun. I changed my whole life. Like singing was like the only thing I was going to do. And then all of a sudden acting came up, and then that was amazing. My career has been really strange, but sometimes horrible. Oh my God, sometimes so bad, like I'd want to stick needles in my eyes, but then something changes, but sometimes you have to wait for a while.
Winner is Cher in Moonshot.
You've done the lot. You've just about won the lot. You've won an Oscar, you've won Grammys, you've won Emmys, you've won Golden Globes. I mean, really, it's just the Tony, and then you're an EGOT. I mean, Cher, is there some way we can get you a Tony?
I don't know. You know, maybe I'm not meant to get it. But, you know, maybe I'll be, I'm already so old, I don't know what I could be. But I've been offered many things, but I never found something that I thought was exactly right. So if I find something, and the one thing about theater is you don't have to be young to do it, you know? So I have a lot of energy, and, you know, I still have a lot in me, and I'm not so sure why, but I just do. I don't know, maybe it could happen in the next year. Who knows?
Let's hope so. I want to talk specifically about music, and very specifically about the song Believe, which I was astonished to be reminded is 27 years old now, and I still kind of think of it as a relatively recent song. But it's also often credited as being the first hit that had obvious auto-tune. Can you believe the influence that song has had on popular music ever since?
Yeah, Jay-Z told me. He said, I thank you for it.
Jay-Z? Wow. Did you know what you were making at the time, how important it would be?
It came from a fight I had with my producer. There was a part in Believe that was really boring. And my producer kept saying, Cher, you got to sing it better, you got to sing it better. And I just kept trying my best, and he kept saying it like I could do something. And then I said, if you want it better, get another singer, and I walked out.
Wow.
I don't know if it was the next day or that day, but he said, Cher, I just got this thing called a pitch machine. And he said, and I was playing around with it, and I think I can make something with it, something different and something that would help the song. So I went in the next day and he played it for me. And I just remember we both jumped up and high-fived immediately. And then my record company said, we can't tell it's you right away. And I said, yes, that's the deal. That's what's so great about it.
Oh, I mean, in some ways it works though, because you have so many guises. And I think that brings me to, well, the last honour I want to talk to you about, which is being admitted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I mean, it's quite a thing. Are you proud to have that honour next to your name?
You know what makes me feel good about it is that I'm in the Hall of Fame. It's more the honor for me to be in with the people that are in it already.
Yeah. Is there anyone in particular who stands out for you?
Tina.
Tina? Why her?
Because, Tina was one of my close friends, but I always admired her so much, and she was such a great artist. There'll never be anybody like her. She was one of the first stars that I saw when Sonny and I were starting out. We were standing in this huge auditorium, and all of a sudden I felt this kind of force and kind of a wind. I know it sounds crazy, but in kind of a wind. And all of a sudden, Tina came swishing by, and it was like a feeling, like when I saw Elvis, it was a feeling that was so amazing, and I just never forgot it. And then when we became friends, of course I told her.
It's a lovely story. I'm sure there are so many people around the world who look up to you in a very similar way. Cher, it is an honour to have the chance to speak to you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Bye.
Cher! How amazing that the world survived, like Cher and Tina Turner being on the same stage, let alone friends multiple times, because that in my mind is like a cosmic alignment of amazing, that then where do you go from there?
It makes perfect sense when you see them together too.
Oh, yes, it really does.
Yeah.
Also that she's friends with Jay-Z. Yeah. And he just tells her things.
She said that so casually. She was like, Jay-Z. And I was like, all right.
Yeah. Hey, it doesn't matter how much you love someone, there's always going to be something they do that absolutely drives you nuts. Oh.
I tell you what Anne's one is, right? This just annoys me on a personal level. Whenever she's grating cheese, she always uses the small whole side. It doesn't create cheese, right? It creates this kind of fine, powdery mist that gets absorbed into the atmosphere. Because I'm nearly 40, right? My taste buds, they're I can't taste anything smaller than a 50-cent coin, I don't want the cheese to melt in my tongue, I want it to kind of pull my hair and choke me.
Will you please thank Lloyd Langford?
Yeah.
I have a question. Have you worn the same shirt ever since you did that gig? What's going on?
I didn't know you were going to use that clip, but I do own more than one shirt.
Is that like your good shirt?
That's my good shirt. My TV shirt.
I love that Anne Edmonds, of course, you're a wonderful comic, and your partner grates cheese that way. I think it's fantastic. I don't think that's annoying at all. But what do you do that annoys her?
I am very fond of a pickled vegetable.
What?
Or like a cornichon.
A what?
Or,
what? Yeah.
Like a gherkin.
Oh.
Or like a hot sauce. Yeah. And I have so many jars in the fridge that she says the fridge is unusable. And maybe every couple of months she has like a pickle reckoning where she just throws it all away.
Right.
And I have to buy the stuff again.
Right. Yeah, right. That sounds stressful.
I have the diet of a Siberian peasant.
Now, Lloyd, you are nominated for Best Comedy Special at the Actors. Anne is also nominated, which is... There's a bit of competition, I assume, in the household. How are you feeling about all of that?
We're up against each other.
Yes.
And you also did a special, but I noticed you weren't nominated.
Do you know, today I found out there were nominations. It's like, I guess they forgot to call me. No, I didn't get nominated, but it means I'm free from, being in competition with you, which means I kind of won.
Well, I'll skirt over that.
Yeah, sure.
I went to the actors once before with Anne.
Yeah.
She was nominated for an actor. We were on the red carpet together, and all of the paparazzi just shouted at me, "Hey, mate, get out of the way." And that's a photograph. She's being photographed there, and I was told to, like, get far enough away from her that I wouldn't be in the shot.
Amazing.
So I'm hoping, like, this time they'll at least want to, like, snap.
You?
Of me, yeah.
Do you have you practiced your posing in case that is the case?
I mean, look at this. Like, posing isn't going to help, right?
Just wear a good shirt.
Has it made it weird at home? Like, is there a weird competition between you two now that you're both nominated?
Well, I think Rove is also nominated, and I think
Right.
his production company, like, puts on the show. So I think, like, you know, that's who I would be betting on. He puts on this show as well.
That's going to get back, you know.
Great guy. I hope he wins.
There's an old saying, which I realised actually wasn't an old saying, it's just something that a boy told me once. You can only have one star in a relationship.
Yeah, it's Anne.
Good answer. That is a
I'm
great
just
answer.
eye candy.
That is what everyone does say, Lloyd. Definitely.
That shirt's really gone to your head.
He's flying high right now.
Well, do you have that star persona though, as well? Like, do you carry that throughout your everyday life?
Look
are you
at his
happy
shirt,
to pull? I know the shirt, but
Do
are you
I
happy?
have a star persona?
Yeah, are you happy to take that mantle from Anne sometimes?
I mean, if I win over her, that would be really funny. Because I get to give a speech as well and everything, and obviously I won't thank her. I'll thank the shirt. I'll be like, I'm gonna spend all of this prize money on pickles. Like, you'll have to just get your own fridge. Like, leave me alone. Like,
You might have to thank your dad as well, who I know, I've been doing some stalking on your Instagram. He has been here over Christmas. How did he take to Australian life?
my parents were here for 3 months.
3 months?
Yeah, which is less a visit and more like a sentence.
Yeah.
He's not an easy man. He refused to wear sunscreen.
What?
Oh.
He refuses to wear sunscreen,
Yeah, that's in Australia.
Yeah, and I'm like, you can't, like, do that.
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't like how it feels on my skin. I'm like, yeah, I'll tell you what else feels bad in your skin, like cancer.
Yeah.
Like, put some sunscreen on. He got sunburnt in the shade.
Oh, yes.
And, like, you can't, like, that doesn't happen in Wales. Like, if you're out in the shade for too long, like, you'll die of exposure. Like, you're not getting sunburned.
Well, tickets are on sale for the show.
Are you going to wear the shirt every night?
Yeah, I'll see what he wears. I mean, it's part of the deal. All the info is on our website. Would you please thank the wonderful Lloyd Langford?
Enjoy the pickles. That's it for